Hey, welcome, all my right thinkers. Thanks for tuning in and check out your boy, P-Funk. Thinking right out here in my lab where I do what I do for you. I got something nice for you today. We back in the book. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. I'm about to have some fun. Let's go. Rightism. 25 rules to live by. Storytelling. Story with a message. There's a message and a story for life. I give you life lessons. You tuned in to receiving them. I appreciate you. We got a good thing going. Let's rock. Right Thinker's mission is to enlighten, inspire, educate, and motivate you, the individual, to a higher spiritual level of enlightenment. Right Thinker's way of life through mental and spiritual discipline practice daily will help and guide you to attain your goal of reaching spiritual enlightenment, aka know thyself. My mission, and I'm on it, is to get all right thinkers to know thyself. If you're a right thinker and you on your game, your goal is to know thyself. You see where we're going with this? Let's get it together, and it's going to be a question that you need to be able to answer for yourself. Do you know you? You will when I'm through. That's the idea. That's what I do for you. But it's rhetorical, and if you don't have the answer for yourself, tune in. I can help you with that. That's what I do. A person who knows not and knows not that they know not is foolish. Disregard them. A person who knows not and knows that they know not is simple. You can teach them. That's why I do what I do for you. I appreciate you too. Stay tuned. I got more for you. A person who knows not and believe and think that they know is dangerous. Avoid them. I do. A person who knows and knows not that they know is spiritually asleep. I can awaken them. I'm a spiritual alarm clock here to wake you up with knowledge of self. That's what I do for you. A person who knows and knows that they know is wise. Follow them. All these persons reside in you. Right thinkers, know thyself, and to Mayat, be true. Here's a few pictures. I like pictures because I hope they can set the tone. These are ideas of the concept, what we talk about now, right? Let's talk about the ancient Egyptian story of the lost book of Djehuti. I'm going to break down who is Djehuti. See that guy right there, the ibis head bird? The first one, he's in all his regalia. He's laid out. Second one is him in his baboon form. And the third one is him doing what he do normally, okay? See on the other page over here, these are three forms of Djehuti. This is him, and this is Kansu, the son of two famous families. I get to that when I get there. But this is the eye of Djehuti. If I took and put the eye under my signature, that would be the eye of Djehuti. This is the eye of Ra, okay? So I'm going to break it down. There's some good information here. Hopefully you can interpret it and understand it. Remember, these are all esoteric teachings. And Djehuti ain't no real person. He ain't the god of Atlantis. He ain't all this nonsense. He's a concept, a principle. Hopefully I can break that down for you right here. Djehuti, the question, who is Djehuti? He's the Atlantean god. He's the one that built the pyramid. Shut up! So, Djehuti is the god whom the ancient Greeks, and they're not ancient, I hate they do that nonsense, what the Greeks later called Hermes. Hermes Trismegistus, all that nonsense. Again, name changes. The Greeks are the biggest name changer. I want to slap the hell out of them for that BS. They called him Hermes. Djehuti represents as the man's body, with a man's body, with an ibis head. And we're going to explain to you why we use the ibis head. Again, there's no man with a damn ibis head. So I'm going to show you below. I'll just show you the picture. And he is the divinity to which the Medjugorje, or they call it hieroglyphic legends, were ascribed the creation of the hieroglyphic scripture. And with it, the wisdom, teachings of ancient Egypt. He also presided over what? Judgment Day. And if you see him, I'm going to point something out to you. You see him, he always got something in his hand. He always writing. And you take a good look at what hand he writing with. Okay? Pay attention. I'm going to show you something. Let you in on a little esoteric teachings. All right, these are lessons called concentration. Pay attention to what you see. Now, the 3 times you see him, he's writing something. Okay? In what hand? Okay? So you telling me Djehuti was left-handed. My dad was left-handed. Moving on. They say left-handed people are special people because they think with the right side, the right hemisphere of their brain. Most people think with the left side. Left-handed people think with the right side. Hence, that's why everything can go into the left. Nothing less. Moving on. But yeah, let's break that down for you right quick. Little inside information. And he also presided over what? Judgment Day, scene where the soul's deeds are weighed against the feather of Ma'at. Again, he was there. Let me show you the different forms of Djehuti. Djehuti is a symbol of right thinking, right reasoning, and he's the link to what? Our higher self. I'm getting there. I'm excited, but I'm getting there. Pay attention. Stay with me. So when the determination for you to pursue your divine arises, the struggle becomes what? Now it's a holy war where against what? Your ignorant self, your lower self set in the illusion within one's own consciousness. That's Haru, your higher self. They at odds, okay? And he also is known by the Egyptians as Djehuti. He's the Lord of what? Divine words. Because he's the orchestrator of the hieroglyphics, the writings. These are the writings of God. The God of Djehuti, the God of wisdom. Ra's mind, his concept. That's what he is. We gave him life. We put him into human form so we can explain him philosophically and get the message across to you by using his skills that we're going to adopt and use. Watch this. Now, he considered the divine words. And the more well-known title that he went by, which is Djehuti, 3 times great. The Greeks, Hermes Trismegistus, 3 times, thrice great. Okay, the same thing. Okay, but he was known to the practitioners of the Greco-Roman, the Greeks and the Romans, the white men, in ancient Egypt as Hermes, thrice greatest, and he's also Lord of the 3 worlds, all conscious. I'll talk about that later. But the Romans called him Mercury, the guy with the wings on his heel, because he was the messenger. He would get there instantly. So they used Mercury to show the guy with the wings on his heel how fast. We call him now Flash. So all these is qualities that we use out of ancient Egypt. Now they're Marvel heroes, they're mutant, everything. But they all just concepts and aspects from our ancient ancestors, and we just really missed the boat with how we symbolically represent them, but that's another lesson. But I'm trying to break it down to you, keep it real simple, because there's a method, and it works to a T when practiced and understood correctly. Now, right here, I'm going to show you again. This is called a crescent moon symbol for Djehuti. He also has it all seeing eye. And the crescent moon, now the moon, we'll break that down coming up now, the lesson. The moon is a reflection of what? The sun. When the sun go down, because all day he's pushing information, pushing energy into the moon, so when he go down, the moon can shine at night. That was the baboon aspect of Djehuti, watching over. That's the next lesson coming up. But the crescent moon is the early part of the moon, the first quarter. Full moon, you don't never see Djehuti representing the full moon. I'll break that down for you right here. On here, I'm going to show you 3 different things. The figure 27, left A is the symbol of Djehuti. That's right here. That's the eye. That's his symbol. That's his calling card. Okay? To see him in regalia, and you see he's always standing on Ma'at. Again, all the gods stand on the pedal of Ma'at. Okay? She's always involved. And the eye of Djehuti. Now B is actually him, Djehuti, the god Djehuti. C was the ancient Egyptian god Khonsu. B and C are the ancient Egyptian gods Djehuti, and they are symbols of intellect. And Khonsu, reflection of what? Consciousness in what? Time and space. He's the one in physical form, which their crescent moon symbolizes. They both had the symbol of the moon. You see, Khonsu had the sun disk between his. Okay? Again. Hold on 1 second, excuse me. Yeah, sorry about that. Now, understand this. The symbol of the crescent moon, this is what it looks like. This is the crescent moon. That's the sun. They're coming together, and it's going to break that down for you right quick and explain it to you. The symbol of the crescent moon is of special importance to the Cometians and even the Hindus. Why? Because as a symbol of the reflection of the sun. Remember, the moon don't shine on its own. It needs the rays from the sun. And that's how symbolically we put this together. The reflection of the sun and the moon symbolizes that reflection of what? Divine consciousness, which every human being can achieve. As they turn what? Toward the source of light, the divine self, as symbolized how? By the sun. The hidden Amun, the hidden spirit. The sun, Ra, is the visible spirit, energy, and it gives life to everything on earth. It shines across daytime. That's its job. And the, Ptah, that's the physical part. That's us, from spirit to matter to physical part. Humans, okay? That's the concept. That's the three. But the moon, what's this? Does not produce its own luminance. Again, it depends on the sun. Like everything on this planet. In the same manner, the human mind, that is human consciousness or your soul, is not self-sustaining. Why? It owes not only its existence, but also its continued survival to the presence of what? The sun. In essence, the spirit in matter form. Okay? It can be used as pure energy. Okay? The crescent moon symbolizes what they call the waxing or the increasing spiritual knowledge. Increasing purity of what? Intellect. That means daily study and practice of the lessons of the teachings. And the development of your intuitional wisdom. You start to live it. You start to feel it. You start to be motivated by it, inspired. And this is accomplished how? Through all of the means available. But any means necessary, get the message that the sages have prescribed for the practice of yogic disciplines. I practice spiritual discipline. I keep God conscious, and I'm devotion. My devotion is to God in daily study, and I live so I earn wisdom. I earn the wisdom from the teachings by living right, thinking right, and through daily meditation. That's the things that you do for yourself. It don't make a difference about nothing to nobody else. It's personal. Now, this is the best part. Now, I'm going to show you, I showed the picture about Djehuti. Here's another picture about Djehuti. Now, if you just remember the other pictures, you will see something different in this one. If not, I'm going to show you Djehuti is ambidextrous. He used both hands. This time, you see him writing with his left hand. Other times, you see him holding his things in his hand with the left. See that? Little tidbit, just little thing that you pay attention to. And when you're learning things, you want to get all the information you could. But now we're talking about the Sebai Djehuti. That's my favorite part. He's the teacher. This is what Djehuti represents. This is going to break it down. I keep explaining to you, he's not a person. He ain't a man with an ibis head. He ain't a baboon. He's the concept. Djehuti is Djehuti is the God of learning. He's your thinking aspect, which mathematics, he's the God of learning, writing, mathematics, and language. Djehuti is referred to as thought by the Greeks and Hermes in ancient Egypt mythology. Remember, these are all mythological characters. They never really exist. He is the scribe of the gods. Oh, you tell him, see him. He always keeping records. That's his job. He's your memory bank. He's your recorder. He's your mind. How about that? Watch this. I'm going to tell you that in 1 second. He's the scribe of the gods, and he appears as the record keeper. That's his job in your head of the dead and the book of coming forth by day. He is the sole patron of learning. That's God's mind. And of the arts, he is the inventor of writing. Medunetta by Djehuti, God's writings. And the specific theology related to him, and he is also seen as the creator of the universe again. But Djehuti is depicted as a man with the head of a baboon, which you very rarely see. Is the whole body of the baboon, but the head of an ibis bird. Every time you see him, that's the form you see him in. The ibis-headed man. The baboon right here, you see him in the whole baboon form. Okay, but those are two aspects of Djehuti, and they're gonna break it down for you as we go. But you see him and he always bears a pen and ink. His job is to record. Also, he wears the lunar disc and the crescent moon. I just showed you that. Now, again, there you go. In his form, okay, keeping records. Djehuti, the transporter of what? The word. In the beginning, there was the word. Djehuti was the word of God, Ra, the sun. He brings the magic, aka spiritual power, of the supreme being Ra, which heals Haru, which is me and you, with his concepts. And the ibis, the reason why they use the ibis-headed bird, I'm going to explain to you right here, the symbolism behind it. The ibis is a wading bird. It relates to the stork and the heron. The choice of the ibis indicates a unique feature right there, or a quality which spiritual learning requires. Symbolism, and this quality is related to the wading nature of the ibis. Wading means walking in or through a substance, such as water or marshland, muddy waters, that offers resistance, but it impedes or makes movement difficult. I mean, it ain't easy to walk, and the ibis is pretty better at that than most, and that's what they use them for that purpose. But watch this. Now we're going to learn a more noble and philosophical purpose that we stand by. This is the esoteric meaning of the ibis bird. Djehuti represents intellect. He's very sharp. That's the mind and its capacity to what? Cut, meaning wade through what? The myriad of negative thoughts and bad concepts. He learning what to think, how to think, and what to think of. You got the water, considered the ocean of consciousness. He can pick out everything he needs. That's the concept of the ibis bird. And he's doing it from a symbolic concept, and it's your conscious in order to get to the truth. Anubis, your discernment, he knows between right and wrong. But your whole thought process, which comes from Djehuti, puts you in a position to do just that on your own. And the crescent moon is the symbol of Djehuti because it's the figure of the moon and its first quarter, meaning it's concave. It has concave and the convex, meaning the edges are what? Are points. When you see the old horns on Moses, okay, he wore the horns. That's the horn, that's the moon, because he's the moon. They worship Jews and Masons, they are moon worshippers, not sun worshippers. Another lesson. But that's why you see the horns. It's the 2 points that's sticking out. Okay, and that time it's the ram horns, okay, because he got the ram here to stick out. But the crescent moon, that's what the edges turned out. But it signifies, the symbol signifies what? Growing or increasing in understanding of oneself nature. Reason and spiritual wisdom, living, doing, and being right will increase you spiritually, and your wisdom through experience and practicing righteous living gains you wisdom. Therefore, Djehuti is the embodiment of knowledge, self-knowledge. Know thyself. This is one of the reasons why he is said to have what? Created writing, Imaginetta, and he is also the messenger. That's where the Mercury comes from the Romans, the messenger of Ra, who brings the special words of power, who told Aset in the Assyrian resurrection the story in order for her to resurrect Haru. He gave her the knowledge and understanding how to heal, bring the dead back. Okay, she did it for Sar and she did it for Haru. She did it twice. Now, in this aspect, this symbolizes that the spiritual preceptor who brings the wisdom of who? The divine self, knowledge of self, God, to what? You, the aspirant, mentally, so that you, the aspirant, can now what? Resurrect his or her what? Spiritual concepts and understanding of having knowledge of self, aka know thyself, or nihas as we called it. Now, I'm going to step the lesson short. I'm going to take you to the next part. We got part 2 coming up. This is the backbone. You see what he's standing on? This is considered the backbone of Asar. This is the 4 spiritual centers. In Masonic order, it would be called the red house. Why? Because the first 3 degrees is the blue house. Next level up, which we teach you how to become conscious of yourself, is considered the red house. I'm going to take you through this right quick. There's a few minutes. I got some time. All right, let's talk about that. You see the baboon? That's Djehuti sitting on Asar, standing on what? What he know to be right. Steadfast on what he know to be himself. And Djehuti, in the form of the baboon, sits atop of the pillar of Asar. The universe is understood to be like an ocean of matter through which Ra sails in his barge, and in order to sustain creation, that's the sun. You see the scarab pushing the sun because symbolically the scarab pushes its dung in pattern of the sun going across the sky to keep the heat on to nourish the eggs inside the dung. So they were smart. So they showed the scarab pushing the sun across the sky symbolically, okay, metaphorically. And Djehuti is who? You ready? Djehuti is Ra's mind, the cosmic mind, God, with which Ra moves through the ocean of creation, his world. Thus, the universe is known as, we consider, an ocean of consciousness. God is pure conscious, all-knowing. We call that the Nu or the Noon, N-U or N-U-N. Excuse me. That's the spirit which Ra uses, aka the cosmic mind, to what? Create. He thought creation. He thought it into existence. And to create what? The objects and the very forms of creation, and how to maintain it in order, maintain order in creation, he had to put forth principles, rules, cosmic forces that we use. So therefore, matter, we call creation, is in reality what? Consciousness from the primeval ocean, which has now taken on forms, physical objects in accordance with the will of the cosmic mind, God. The cosmic mind also brings forth what? Learning and knowledge to what? His creation. How? Through the arts of sciences and language speaking. Nothing is invented by human beings. What you mean? All the rules that govern our principles that we follow, we didn't create them. That's why. You reap what you sow. That's not man's law. That's God's law. Everything, karma, is God's law. Everything that's created by what? Civilization, man, comes from what? The cosmic mind, God, and not from any individual human beings. Ha, ha, ha. And if to think or believe otherwise, that would be what? Egoistic thinking. And ignorant people who are egoistic will think just that, well, right? Anything to the contrary of the truth. Leave them alone. But the more a person, watch this, the more you are in tune with your cosmic mind, meaning living right, doing selfless acts, doing things you're supposed to do, the more you're in tune with your cosmic mind, it's called being in sync with nature, the force, and the more knowledge that he or she can obtain, daily studying. Daily. Daily. I do that. And watch this, and the more inner peace and fulfillment a person can experience, that's how it's done. The further away a person gets from what? The cosmic mind through what? Negative actions, egoistic and ignorance of delusions of grandeur for themselves, and the less that person is able to discover goodness, inner peace, self-knowledge, happiness, and health and long life. Why? That means you're going to kill yourself slowly by doing the wrong thing. You're not living right. Righteous living, meaning long life. Reckless living, short life. Understand that. Wrap it up. Djehuti is what we call the quintessential sage, or Sebai. That's a spiritual preceptor. In this story, the word Sebai is a Commission term, meaning, you ready? Spiritual preceptor. Not a pastor, not a preacher, a spiritual preceptor, a teacher of spiritual truth. That's what I do for you. A spiritual preceptor is a sage. One who shows others the way to understand their higher reality, aka themselves, beyond their ordinary phenomenal universe, that he or she shows others how to discover their what? True identity, and to realize what? Their oneness with the divine. I tell you, God and I are one. Everything comes from the one. When you become one with God, you have been enlightened. You reach that level. Now, in essence, they are spiritual guides. I'm going to stop right there. I can drop the pen on that one. I'm your spiritual guide. I'm here every day to give you spiritual guidance to get you to be your best self, aka know thyself. That's the lesson. I'll be back in a minute, but right now I got to go. And in closing, right thinkers, may y'all live to be 100. Me, 100 minus a day. So I never know that my right thinkers is passed away.